Hello, my panda pals, and welcome back. Today we're going to be doing part 1 of the Happily Ever After Season 8, Episode 9 recap. As always, chapters are going to be in the description for everyone who wants to skip the couples that they really wish they could punch in the face. So, sit down, buckle up, and let's go for a ride. I'm gonna go ahead and get Loren and Alexei out of the way because they showed so much of her surgery this episode, and that kind of stuff I do not like to watch, so I really didn't pay attention to their segment this week. All that seems to have happened is Loren went into surgery, Alexei was freaking out waiting outside, and then Loren finished her surgery, everything went well, and Alexei takes her back to the hotel. Moving on to Rob and Sophie. I'm gonna assume that most of you guys know what's been happening with them over the past week. If you don't, I'm not super gonna get into it, but really briefly, Sophie got video footage of Rob being heinously toxic towards her, sent that footage to her mom, and then her mom decided to post it on social, which, not the best idea. However, it did give us insight into A, how Rob is off camera, and B, the way that he spoke to her was aggressive, violent in nature, and woefully misogynistic. And any time in the past where I have even given him an ounce of my sympathy for his situation, where I have said, oh, he's trying, Sophie, be better too, take it all back. I take it all back. He is a human dumpster living in the seventh circle of hell where Satan himself takes personal dumps directly into. Moving on. So, last episode, Sophie is on the phone with her mom telling her that she's actively working on her trust issues with Rob while she is simultaneously searching the house for his alleged hoe phone. It is a new day and the pair are heading towards their first attempt at couples therapy, and they are looking super thrilled about it.
I'm glad that we are gonna go to therapy now. How about you?
I don't know. I'm just gonna see how it goes.
Sophie tells us that things have been a little bit better since she moved back in, but she still has a lot of pent-up resentment towards Rob, and they both have very big issues that they still need to work through. So she is a little nervous about how therapy is gonna go. Side note, super happy they're going to therapy. I just don't know the legitimacy of this therapy appointment. Is she even a therapist? Because I don't know any therapist who, even with their client's permission, would be okay broadcasting their appointment. So yeah, I'm a little skeptical. They sit down and the therapist asks them to tell her about themselves, and Rob has Sophie start things off.
He's 32.
I'm 33.
You're 33?
It makes you feel like the other person just doesn't quite care about you if they don't remember your own age.
Oh my God. Rob, stop making shit up to make it seem like Sophie does not love you. It is not that big of a deal that she does not remember how old you are. I have no idea how old anyone in my life is, myself included. Like, I stopped keeping track of my age after 23? 18, you can buy cigarettes and vote. 21, you can drink. After that, what? You can just do anything. Why keep track? It doesn't shut up. Also, do you want to know what actually shows someone that they don't care about you? When they know you don't like something and you do it anyway.
Why is my wedding ring in the cheese? He knows I don't like just cheese.
I know you don't even really like cheese that much, but I figured
No, I
I'd give
don't
you a
even
little
like
bit of
cheese.
cheese.
The therapist goes on to ask Sophie what she thinks is happening in their relationship, and Sophie admits that they bicker all the time and that she carries a lot of resentment towards him. She talks about how he's cheated on her, which has led to her not being able to trust him and has also resulted in a lack of intimacy between the two of them.
It's typical that Sophie would bring up the online cheating. And it's like, I can't say nothing because her feelings are valid and mine are invalid.
Oh, what? In what world does Sophie bringing up your cheating equate to your feelings not being valid? I mean, unless your feelings are that the cheating didn't happen? Or that it was like somehow justified? Which it did happen and is not justified. So, the therapist asks Sophie to describe her sex life, and Sophie says they do not have one. She goes on to say that he wants her to dress up all the time, and he fights back by saying that she has only dressed up one time for him. He says that it's not even about the outfit, and then goes on to tell us all of the outfits that he wants her to wear.
It would be real hot if Sophie was in the maid costume. Velma from Scooby-Doo, a little sexy skirt and, a little bunny ears.
He does say that it's more about the effort that his wife is putting in doing something that she knows he likes. And while I do understand that feeling, I think that that is a valid feeling in most cases. It does feel like quite a big ask coming from someone who perpetually does things that he knows his wife does not like. Rob goes on to say that they haven't had sex in so long that at this point, it is Sophie's responsibility to break down the walls keeping her from wanting to be physical with him.
She moved out 3 months ago, and she's just now moving home because she finally decided to maybe try and work on this relationship.
Sophie jumps in to defend herself and says that she left because she found out that Rob had been sexting random women on the internet, asking them for nudie pictures of them that he can put into his spank bank for later.
And it hurt, like, my view on myself. The types of women that you do look online, like, they don't look like me.
She goes on to say that they're all muscular, fit, and bodybuilders. The therapist asks Rob if he can make an effort to hear Sophie, and obviously the answer is no, and he unsurprisingly goes on to gaslight, deflect, and minimize her feelings.
Make me sound so crazy.
Muscular
Fitness
women.
chicks is one thing. Bodybuilder women? That is literally like some fetish deviant ass.
It is so annoying when Rob does this, and he does this quite a bit, where he will take something that Sophie says, he will focus in on one aspect of it, and he will blow it way out of proportion so that he can then gaslight, deflect, minimize, and not have to take responsibility for his actions and how they impact his wife.
I'm not like this porn-addicted bodybuilder fetish guy. Like, what? That's not who I am.
So in this case, he is focusing in on the semantics of bodybuilder, and he's using it now as a tool to manipulate her into feeling like she's making a big deal out of nothing.
There's a category of men that like to bodybuilder women, and now that's who I am.
The therapist tries to talk, but Rob will not listen, and he keeps interrupting her to play the saddest song on the tiniest violin.
A lot of things need to change.
But I did change. The thing is, there's not a conversation.
You're interrupting me.
Sophie tells us that these women are not fitness chicks. They are muscular ass women, and he says that he follows them as fitness inspiration.
He'll like save their photos and like all of their photos. Let's be real as to why you follow them. They post all ass shots.
The only fitness you're doing while looking at these women is making sure that right arm of yours is swole AF. Sophie goes on to say that she never feels safe enough to be honest about her emotions with Rob because he is so skilled at gaslighting her and invalidating her feelings.
Stop lying. If you're gonna lie, I'm not doing therapy with you. Be honest.
Lie
Just say,
about
I'm
what?
sorry, I hurt your feelings. What can I do to help our relationship?
The therapist does go on to validate Rob's feelings by saying that there is a lot of judgment centered around sex, and he is definitely fearful of being judged. Which I get that would make someone feel defensive. It is just very interesting that he is getting so defensive about people judging him and his sexual preferences, but he's not concerned about people judging him for treating his wife like crap.
I'm not into girls who have buff arms. I'm not into girls who have the necks. Sophie is here to convince the therapist that I have some sort of kink.
Nope, she was not doing that at all. She just wanted to let you know why she feels so insecure. She does not look like the women you cheated on her with, and she does not look like the women that you tug your tiger to. The therapist tells Rob she can see he loves Sophie and invites him to be vulnerable.
And that's the hard work. It's easier to express anger. It's the first impulse we have.
Rob then apologizes to Sophie that he got angry and that he was triggered, and Sophie clarifies that when she brings up the online cheating, it is not to make him feel bad.
I'm comparing myself to girls you look at online, and I just want to reassure me that you think I'm beautiful, and I feel like you never tell me things like that.
Sophie looks at him and asks him to try and reassure her right now. And Rob goes on with great difficulty to tell her that he loves her lips, he loves her eyes, and he thinks that she is gorgeous.
Like, now I feel nice. Was that difficult for you?
Yeah, a little bit.
It was difficult?
I feel so bad for Sophie because after he gives her this list, she lights up. She is beaming, and I'm like, damn. All he did was tell her that she's pretty, and she hears it so little that just this little drop of affection. And she has transformed from being angry and pouty into just giggling, blushing young schoolgirl. The therapist and Sophie congratulate Rob on doing this because this was apparently a giant step for him. And the therapist tells him that this is called being intentional.
It may not come natural, but we know it works for my partner, so I'm gonna do it.
Let's close things out with Liz and Ed. Last episode, Ed gaslights the crap out of Liz and makes everything her fault, and then he tells her his mind is made up and he is breaking up with her for real, for real. It is a new day and Liz and Ed are meeting at a coffee shop because it's a way more appropriate location to talk things through. Which, I mean, it is a more appropriate location, but I still would not have this conversation somewhere remotely public.
I don't want to give up. I want to be with Ed. I have absolutely no idea what I would do next if this is the end.
Be happy? Not suffer due to a narcissistic, manipulative man's ego? Find you someone who respects you enough not to cancel your wedding without telling you?
Being in a committed relationship, you stick through it. Hard times, 100%.
You do not have to stick through it, especially not if it means that you are dealing with a human ballsack of a man. Ed comes in, he sits down, and he tells her point blank he thinks he's been looking for an excuse to call off the wedding. He says they've both had bad marriages in the past, and he knows neither of them want to go through another divorce, and that is the only way he saw a marriage with her ending.
I didn't want to do that to you.
You know, don't you think that I should have known first?
Ed tells her that he wants to be single and focus on his career, and Liz starts to sob as she says he's gonna go on to become the best version of himself and it isn't gonna be with her. To which Ed is very kind and reassures her by saying that he will always be an asshole. Truer words have probably never been uttered from this man's mouth.
You're a better person out here. I helped create that. I'm stuck with you through everything. I hate thinking about you with someone else.
Ed tells her that he wants to keep things cordial between them and that he wants to help her in any way he can with what little time is left on their lease.
You have your whole life ahead of you. If you ever meet anybody like me, just run.
I don't want to meet anybody else.
Ed says sorry, and then they just part ways. And that, my Panda Pals, is all I have for you today. If you are not subscribed to my channel yet, please do consider clicking that subscribe button and joining this Panda Party. I hope you guys enjoyed the ride, and I hope to see you guys for part 2 later this week. And as always, thank you for not letting me ride this train wreck alone. Bye!